back into the game rhythm for the first time in 3 weeks. Talk to us about how you're feeling, how the team is feeling so far. Getting back into a game rhythm, and then the stakes are pretty high for this one.
Yeah, I mean, we had a long 3 weeks, but we trained for the game for ourselves, to keep ourselves fit and be able to perform on Sunday. So I think we did a very good work with the coaching staff and everybody, and all the players. They have been really here. Even the players that left, some of them already came and they seem in good shape.
How have yourself, the coaching staff, and then your teammates? How have you guys, reflected and reshaped your focus from this break, and now you're in the game mode? What specifically are you guys doing to reshape that mentality heading into this conference semifinal?
I mean, everybody knows how important is this game. I mean, these 3 weeks has been. Let's say we haven't taken our mind off the game. We have been staying focused and consistent with our work, and try to prepare our best for this game.
LA Galaxy is a team that you personally have not faced quite yet, but I'm sure you've done, your due diligence and looked into the team. Initially, what are the things that you're looking into them when it comes to how are they dangerous, and how can you guys approach them as an opponent?
I mean, individually, I look more at the defenders aspect. That's where, let's say, that's where I excel. That's where my expertise is. But then I combine that with the team and with what the coaches ask me to do. So to drop back and to be able to connect with the other players, so that we can counter or, let's say, find inputs that can help us to win the game. And that's what we have been doing. Yeah.
Who specifically has, given you the most input or advice into this Galaxy team so far out of your teammates, that have played against these guys quite a few times? Anybody yet?
I mean, at the moment I spoke with the coaches, with all the staff, and some of the players that they've been long in this league, like Will, Hassani, and all these players. And yeah, they all tell me much about it. So I know what, let's say, what to expect from LA Galaxy, and we also know what we can give, so that's the most important thing.
On Saturday, you got to play in front of fans in a scrimmage just to keep you guys warm and fresh. But what? That's the first showing of support for this playoffs that you guys have seen in a couple of weeks. How does that feel to get in front of the fans and feel that support from them?
Yeah, I mean, when everybody asks me about Minnesota and our stadium, I say the fans are amazing, and to have them on last Saturday was amazing to have them there. And they show us really support. They come to the game, they cheer us up, and they keep us going. I mean, football is for the fans, so for the people. So we are proud to be able to make the whole people that support us proud of us.
I know it's a little different than what your experience is, across in Europe, where traveling fans are in their troves and they come in a lot. I think we're expecting probably upwards of 250 of our fans going to be in LA. How might that help, propel you guys into success on Sunday?
As I said, I mentioned earlier, the support from the fans is very important. I mentioned already that there are 12 men on the pitch, and when you are in difficulty and you hear them and you hear the support is what gives you energy and the adrenaline to keep pushing through.
Eric, coming off of an international break, coupled with having rest after sweeping RSL, what's a key focus that you guys are implementing this week with the team to rehome the guys into that game week mentality?
Yeah, it's not been easy. I will say the 3-week break has presented its difficulties. I think everyone set out to paint it as positively as possible and use the time well, but I feel like it's been frustrating for everyone involved, and I would count myself amongst those people. I don't think it's been a particularly enjoyable 2.5 weeks for everyone's will to get going with the game, and we were in such good rhythm that to have had it sort of taken away has been frustrating. But now that we can bring the group back together properly on Thursday, we feel like that's maybe an edge that we've got that the opposition don't, in the sense that they haven't had any sort of meaningful internationals away for us. We've had 7 that we welcome back, that will give us a real change of pace and a change of gear and a definite focus toward the game. So I feel like now we've got these 2 days out of the way that have been good. They've been sort of general training days that I'm sure the players have enjoyed. We can really tip our focus toward the actual game come Sunday.
Is there a kind of an advantage, like you just mentioned, where we have players that are still there on game fitness, they're still in that rhythm? Would you say that that's something that
I feel from 2 perspectives. So one being that most have gone away and they've played at least a number of minutes for their international teams in an environment which obviously there's a lot of tension around it. It feels much more like what it would approaching the playoffs for us this weekend. So there's definitely that, but also I suppose the monotony of the same group training together for 3 weeks with no change of pace, no fresh energy, that would be difficult to deal with. Whereas in our case, we again welcome 7 players back on Thursday, and I think when they come back into the group, it will really feel like it's game on, and we've got to try and benefit from that. And I feel, as I say, that's an edge that probably we've got that they haven't.
Shifting into the technical part of the game, knowing that we had 2 close games with them this season, one was a draw, one was a pretty narrow loss on the road. What's a key element to approaching this 3rd match against them, against a team that we know is high flying offensively and defensively can find their rhythm and their form every now and then?
Yeah, we obviously we know very clearly what LA Galaxy are. They're a top team at this level with top individual players that are very difficult to beat at home, but their games are typically high scoring, they're open. They as a side are predictably unpredictable. They've got a lot of fluidity. A lot of their play is based upon the individual's freedom of movement. So it's very difficult for me to stand in front of the players and give them very concrete solutions as to how we're going to deal with situation X, Y, or Z. But I feel if we're a good version of what we've been over the course of the last 10, 12 games, and we can execute defensively in the way that we have done, particularly recently, which has been to a really high level, really disciplined, really detailed. I feel like they are the ingredients to a good performance against a side like them. And we've also got to get away from it being a game that is LA Galaxy attacking and us defending, and there being very little else to the game, because that certainly from my end anyway is unlikely to be the case. I feel like we can have a good spell on the ball, we can get into our rhythm in a way that we have done when we've been at our best, and attack quickly but with a degree of control that I feel we found more and more as the season's gone on. So I certainly won't be painting it as a one-sided game. I don't feel like anyone in our camp sees it in that way, but obviously we've got to deal with the big names that everyone will be expecting to probably tip the balance in their favour. So it's almost as simple as that, I suppose.
And last one here, you got experience in Europe with traveling contingencies for your team, being a present item, and it's a little different here in MLS. Knowing that we'll probably have a decent 250 plus fans, Loons fans in LA, how does that factor in for our guys, for yourself, for the environment itself?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, it's as you say, far more common in Europe, and it's something that changes the dynamic, changes the atmosphere to games for sure. And I think for us to have that number travelling that far is huge, and fingers crossed we can put on a performance that justifies those guys coming, and they can certainly play their part in what is hopefully a really special day.